Welcome to the Investor's Stock Guide's weekly newsletter. This video will explain in detail the purpose of each section. At the very top is the title of the newsletter, followed by the date. The weekly closing numbers for the U.S. and Canadian markets are displayed here, with gains or losses for the week expressed in points and percentages. The current U.S. and Canadian stock market trends are expressed as bullish or bearish. In this case, the trends are both bullish. This next section shows the weekly closing numbers for certain commodities, with gains or losses expressed in dollar amounts and as a percentage. Our commentary part of the newsletter briefly discusses the past week's news, major events, and facts regarding both the U.S. and Canadian markets. The portfolio action section is divided into 4 columns: add-on buy, add-on short, sold, and covered. Symbols in the add-on buy and add-on short mean you will add an additional buy or short to that particular stock. The sold column shows which stocks were sold, and the covered column shows which stocks were covered, which applies to stocks which were shorted. This section is very important. It shows stocks which have a new stop-loss range. If you see your stock in this section, you need to take action and change your stop-loss order to reflect the new stop-loss price range. We'll come back to this section a little later in the video. The Stocks Making a Move section displays which stocks you should be considering to buy and or short on Monday morning. Each listing includes the date and stock symbol. Stocks with 4 symbols trade on the NASDAQ. Stocks with 3 symbols trade on the Amex, NYSE, and the Dow. Stocks with a prefix of T trade on the Toronto Stock Exchange, and a prefix of V trade on the Venture Exchange in Canada. Next is Friday's closing price. The action column will either show a buy or a short. In this case, both stocks' picks are buys. The stop-loss range displayed shows a price range to which you would set your stop-loss order immediately after purchasing the stock. For TRIM, it's anywhere between $6.72 and $6.33. A tool that we have developed, called the Risk Calculator, will help you determine the amount of shares to buy. Using TRIM again, you would buy 2,482 shares. We have a separate video on how to use the Risk Calculator and how it will benefit you. The next column illustrates how much is being risked per share, followed by the total risk taken on this initial transaction. The last section shows the amount of money invested so far. This week there are 2 buy candidates to consider. It's totally up to you if you want to buy one, both, or none. Stocks in Current Portfolio shows American and Canadian stocks, both buys and shorts. After a stock is in the Stocks Making a Move section, it will be added into this section in the next week's newsletter. This section has 3 additional columns. The Current Value column shows the current value of the stock. The Gain or Loss column shows the stock in a gain or loss position, with the percent gain or loss column showing the gain or loss as a percentage. The Current Week row shown here corresponds to the current week's stop-loss range. If you see your stock in the new stop-loss range section above, then you'll need to go to the current week's stop-loss range to determine your new stop-loss price and change your stop-loss order. The highlighted numbers represent the values for the current week. Please note, whether you have a full-service broker or an online brokerage account, Investor's Stock Guide recommends you get familiar on how stop-loss orders work and how they are entered, canceled, and re-entered. Once a stock has been sold or covered, it gets removed from the Current Portfolio section and added to this section. The following week, the stock will be removed and added to our Yearly Performance page. Investor's Stock Guide strategy is based on 4 separate transactions. Shown here is FLT, which was purchased on 4 separate occasions: August 12th, August 19th, September 9th, and the 16th. The newsletter is an aggressive investor, and so the total amount invested in FLT was $149,917. With a risk of 30%, the newsletter's maximum allowable dollars it can risk is $45,000. The stop-loss price will determine the amount of risk for each separate transaction. After the 4 transactions, the total risk was $26,753, well below the $45,000 risk allowed. The total shares purchased were 3,548. The current value is $161,966. The current gain is $12,039, which is a gain of 8% in about 8 weeks. In regards to how much money one invests and risks in each stock is different for every type of investor. For more details on this, please watch our Risk Calculator video. This concludes the Investor's Stock Guide weekly newsletter tutorial video. Please be sure to watch our other informational videos. Thank you.